I have faith that one day I'll become a fucking rap mogul. Yeah, you see how stupid that sounds? That just sounds absolutely ridiculous. Faith is like a virtue in this country. I see it plastered all over the place. Have faith in this. Have faith in this. Just have faith. Having faith does nothing, and it makes you sound absolutely stupid. Stupid. Like when I talk about research and facts and evidence and the real truth, everybody just kind of like, yeah, whatever, guy. But that guy has faith. That one's got faith. Faith in what? Faith means nothing. Absolutely nothing. You could have faith that you'll have $1 million in your bank account tomorrow, and it still isn't gonna fucking happen. Just like praying. This gesture of faith being held on such a high pedestal of an attribute to have is quite ridiculous. I'll give you an example of how I used faith. In the Borg video, I had faith that the moderators of TechBB would do something, in support or out of love for Borg. And they did. But that was something I had faith in. I had faith in those people that would do something that was quite reasonable, that was almost expected. And we'll get into reasonable expectations. But faith isn't something you say, well, I have faith that there's an almighty being in the sky, of which I've never seen before. That just sounds stupid as hell. Or I have faith that, one day, this and that will get better, regardless of how much effort I put into making it better. Sure, there's some instances where that may happen, but on a grand scale, you're gonna fucking strike out way before you hit a home run, ladies and gentlemen. And faith it shouldn't be used that much. It's kind of like believing, like, I believe, that I have an imaginary friend. What does that mean? That's a pretty empty and baseless and very vague comment to make to begin with. And you should have faith that my little friend exists. But you find that ridiculous. You really do. You find that moronic, but yet you don't find it moronic if I say that my friend's name is God. That all of a sudden that changes everything for you. And really, faith is just saying that you're unsure. You are uncertain. I have faith that will happen. Literally means I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I really hope it does. Or I'm uncertain that actually exists, but I do have faith and belief that does exist. So now on to reasonable expectations and what those really are. You see, a reasonable expectation for me is to have my car start every single morning. Why? Because I drive a decently reliable car and I take care of it. And thus far, it's never not started on me, so I expect it to start. I have a reasonable expectation that my ceiling will not collapse on me tonight as I'm laying in my bed. I have a reasonable expectation that I have a certain amount of money in my bank account, because that's close to what I had before, and I kind of know how much I've spent between that period of time and this period of time. See, that's a reasonable expectation. I have a reasonable expectation that surgeons are capable of doing their jobs, not in all cases, but in most, or at least a good percentage of them, to save people's lives, because that's their job. I have a reasonable expectation that cops will do more well than bad, because that seems to be their batting average, so to speak, in my community. You see, that's an expectation that you gather or that you can perceive based on your past experience, your history with whatever it is you're dealing with. Having faith and belief in something is quite empty. It really is. Like, I want to believe that this country will get better. I also believe it won't. I guess I have faith that it will get better, but I believe it won't. Because there's nothing pointing us in that direction. Absolutely nothing. Other than Obama does want to tax the rich, finally, after 2 years. But thankfully, or actually after 3 years, sorry. Thankfully, he now wants to tax the rich. But I still don't see this country going in a proper direction. Mainly because we throw research and evidence and facts and testing all out the fucking window for faith and belief and word of mouth and just shit that we don't prove. And the shit that is right, the things that are correct, the things that are a scientific fact, most people throw out the window because they believe otherwise. Believe otherwise, regardless of what evidence or content or information or experiences that are placed before them, they still will throw it out the fucking window, all because a Jesus fish will tell you to have faith that there's a God and he's going to make things all better. When you know he doesn't. When you know he doesn't. Because everybody has problems. Many people have more problems than others. But everybody has issues. And if Jesus and God were just these problem-solving wizards, then we wouldn't have problems, would they? Or whenever people actually prayed for things to be fixed, you know, like Rick Perry and praying for the betterment of Texas and so on and so forth, you would think that something would actually happen instead of a wildfire burning down 1,000 homes. That doesn't sound like a response that I would expect out of an all-loving being that I have faith that exists. Not only that, but when people talk about faith and prayer, normally they're directed at each other. Like, they're like, please pray for me and my family. How selfish is that? And it's not, and every time I hear a prayer, it has something to do with, Lord, I'd say you go on a airline trip. Lord, please put your hand over us and guide this plane to protect us and my family. Or if you're at the dinner table, Lord Jesus, please watch over myself and my family and my friends, blah, blah, blah. Fuck everybody else. Fuck everybody else. It's all about me. Me, 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 me. And then you bring up this point. Well, if you die, you go to hell. If you're wrong. If I die, and I'm wrong, I just die. Yeah, I don't think God really works at like an insurance policy like that. Like, yeah, I just believe in God just in case there is a hell. Because that really means that you don't believe in God. You're just scared of a fairy tale and you don't have the balls to admit that it doesn't exist. Whether that be from social pressure or just the fact that you're a fucking idiot and can't recognize a fairy tale from reality. That's highly possible. Which is definitely a distinct trait in many individuals. But all this faith and belief and all this garbage is just spewed out on the back of bumper stickers and hanging shit from your rear view mirrors and posted up all over your house as if it's actually going to work or save somebody. Or as if you're actually projecting a message worth listening to. Because it's really not. I don't know. You know, people always talk about banning things because they're a distraction, like cell phones and so on and so forth. I think maybe we should ban bumper stickers because there's very few bumper stickers actually worth reading. Most of the time, I try to tune in on bumper stickers just to see how stupid the person actually is driving. Just to see how much of an idiot they are. Like, fuck Obama, or, you know, something about Jesus, or like, vote for Rick Perry, or they'll have this Texas flag that says secede in it. Yeah, like, that's ever gonna fucking happen, and like, that's an actual reasonable solution to begin with. So that's my thoughts. It's my thoughts on faith, belief, and all these other garbage ideals that people press on others as if they are to equal that of actual reality, and those that people, the content that people use to actually try to determine what reality is through scientific testing and research and information that derives from data, so on and so forth. Because all that shit I just said is real. Faith and belief and all this garbage, not so real. Maybe the faith and belief part's real, but what you're believing in and what you have faith in is not real. Not real at all.